be contacted if we're the chosen ones. The point of contact will be different for different people. Some people will be contacted through their family. Some will be contacted by government means, right? As far as finding your tribe, you live with them. And you have to go back to the family lines. You know who you're related to. Them is your tribes, the ones that you're related to that feel like you do. But then you got other tribes within your family that's going to tribe up separate. Y'all going to have a different allegiance to a different big mama, even if y'all love each other. Why do things enter my reality when I no longer desire them? Because once you burn off the desire, that's the point of manifestation. You got to remember, you are desiring because you are in the process of determining something that you want created. As soon as you burn that energy off, you manifested what you supposed to had desired. If a male gorilla sleeps with a monkey, does it create a baboon? No. They won't reproduce. Do you believe the current system gatekeepers all informed by locking it behind college? Oh, do you believe the current system gatekeepers all information? They keeping the information back. Well, no, they used to use institutions to keep us from the information, right? So we send people in that don't look like us to get the information and put it in the public domain. Your Aleister Crowleys, your Mary Baker Eddies, your Madame Blavatsky's, your Franz Bardons, because we were not allowed without getting murdered to even attempt to knock on the Masonic halls for this information. So we sent people that they would accept in to put the information in the public. That's why Noble Drew Ali say, I put all of their secrets in the public domain. That's so that you will know there's people coming behind him, right? I mean, after 1929, that's going to be putting secrets in the open. That if we pay attention, we'll be able to see the symbolism until we learn what the symbols mean. Just follow the symbolism, and then as you learn what the symbols mean, you can translate what's being said in your face behind your back. What do you think about Alcoholics Anonymous for indigenous people? Do you think it works? The whole Alcoholics Anonymous concept, the 12-step program, is Egyptian in origin. And the native peoples have varying medicine men designed or trained to cure all addictions. Every addiction is curable. We have shamans around the world that specialize in each addiction because the addiction is most popular in their area. So what happens to mortgages and people that own when their corporation collapses? Those people still continue to have their property. Okay, so the fraud of the banks, right? The fraud of the banks that issued the mortgages. The mortgage mean a dead entity. So they was issuing those mortgage contracts under the pretext of fraud. The person who went to the bank to get the mortgage was the target of the fraud. In all contract law, when fraud is discovered, the person who committed the fraud lose all contractual rights to any emolument derived from the transaction because it's a criminal act, and all proceeds from it is called fruit of the poison tree. So the person who took the mortgage out will have the claim to the land, not the bank. But it's going to be other remedies for people who have also lost in the past. What does it mean to have a light shadow? That's a new term to me. I can't answer that. I gotta know. I gotta see where you got it from and know who's talking in
like,
order to know.
You know, like a light, a shadow is a form of light. Really, it's like a because it ain't just dark. It has, in order to get the shadow, it has to have a light, right?
Yeah, you can't have a shadow when there is no light present. Darkness don't shine upon darkness. What's the difference between paradigm and the egregore? The egregore is the thinker. The paradigm is what it do with the thought.
Right.
Right. So when you change your mind and your reality change from that, that's called changing your paradigm, a paradigm shift. I think I broke a code. I'm just asking, is the Titanic, the boat, the ship, really talking about lost city of Atlantis? It's talking about our wealth. The Titanic was symbolism, the unsinkable ship, right? Was supposed to have been the wealth of the tribes over here, meaning that our wealth was infinite. We just didn't know it. Mm-hmm. Even if it's at the bottom of the ocean or in the back of your mind, you still rich.
Okay.
So what happens to mortgages? Okay. Had a dream.
Okay, hold up.
Had a dream about some man who was telling me about Morse code, and then the dream changed, and we were somewhere at like a pyramid or some older building, and I was rubbing the bottom of the foundation. Interesting. There's no question. Go to the next one. That dream was interesting, though. Why do family go against the black goat and anchor and restorer of the Mississippian bloodline? That right there, that's a bomb-ass question. But I've already answered this a million times. I even said it in this one. The strongest ones stay at the bottom the longest because they can take it. So the reason why the black goat, black sheep, black wolf, all exiles, Zetas, is because they're not gonna just accept being part of a pack of sorry motherfuckers. They're just gonna be looking at them like these motherfuckers. Then the next thing is, because of that, the pack that they dealing with, that they don't want to really, you don't want to kill them, you don't want to destroy them, and you're looking at them with apathy. You apathetic to their plight because they are so lost. But this is going to create learning conditions for the black goat, black sheep, black wolf, etc., to develop in a way that help the most in the family recover from the psychological trauma. So you're going to take all the punishment as one of the ones we need to stand up later. Shit roll downhill, and shit turn to fertilizer at the bottom. And the fertilize the ones stuck there the longest to be the strongest when they finally grow. Talk about the movie Leave the World Behind, produced by Obama. I have not seen it. I don't know nothing about it. I heard a sister giving a narrative on it earlier, but I don't watch a lot of movies right now because of what I'm doing. Most of my work is done in meditation, so most of the day I don't even be physically present, mentally present with y'all. So only thing I watch is stuff I can code flip immediately. Like I got an ongoing line through wrestling because I've been watching it so long. I can read the codes easy through wrestling than I can through new movies. But sometimes, like this movie, people will refer me to it, so I'll go check it out. And some things I'll be able to instantly grasp, and some things will occur to me later. So I can't really talk about much about the movie because it hasn't moved my give a fuck meter yet. Are the monsters from the Cthulhu mythos real? They're not monsters, they thought forms. They was created by ancestors a long time ago. They thought forms. Cthulhu is the energy that they tell you is Lilith. And Lilith is one of the oldest matriarchal influences of the planet. What was the big hole in the sun all about? That was the what we call a sun witch. The witch was riding the broom in the sun. Right? Yeah, the return to CM Punk. That's do the numbers for CM. That's 313. The P flips off the Unc, which is the uncle. And P is the upside down 6. I can go on and on with that stuff, so I don't want to get too deep into that. How do I control feeling other folks' feelings that keep me feeling down if I'm... Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. So you need to learn psychic self-defense. Malachi told us about this a long time ago, but I had already been studying it under some Eastern yoga doctrines. But psychic self-defense is learning how to turn your auric field into like an eggshell that blocks out all negative energy that you don't want. Right? So there's people around the land. I don't know exactly where to send you now, but with the Nuwabians broke up, but there is people that teach psychic self-defense, and there's books written on it as well. I think one of the best authors I've ran across was Ruth Montgomery. Next one, Elder. I heard the spots on the moon is the actual shadow of Earth and how it really looks. Look, go to the movie theater. When they playing the movie, if you look back at the lens, you can see the movie playing through the lens of the projector. And then that ought to tell you something. Wanted to say thank you, love, peace, and light. All the time. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the people becoming aware of what we're trying to do. Who first agreed to the lines that divide the countries and names of the countries in ancient times, and how did they create map? What those are called lines of demarcation. They not ancient. The ancients maps, the territories was mapped by what we call geoformations, right? And this is why you got tribes lived on riverbanks and tribes lived in valleys under hills and tribes that lived on top of hills, right? Because this was how we divided the land up. Lines of demarcation is probably 1,000 years old, if that. But the name of the first person that done it is not easy to locate.
Yeah, we had tribal lands and tribal areas based on different land geographic.
Yeah, we use geoformations. That's why what we call America was never supposed to cross the Appalachian Mountains. Everything after that was acts of war. And they've been here under acts of war. That's why they've been issuing warrants, ongoing declarations of war. Did Siberians also come from Russia to America, and Russia controlled the West Coast? Russia never controlled the West Coast of the United States, but they did offer aid and assistance to the organic people of the land when we was fighting the French and the Spanish on the East and the West Coast.
Okay, that was a good one.
Are there beings living on the sun or sun beings in general? Look, life is not restricted to what you perceive on Earth.
That's right.
Right? Every planet got a different type of or species or creation type that's suitable for the habitat. Right? Fire beings inhabit the Earth. I mean, the sun. You can see them walking on the sun sometimes. You know, And that's real high power microscopes to see that stuff. But life exists everywhere life is. There's nowhere where life isn't. So there's nowhere that life doesn't exist. All is within the realms of possibility because we living in the realm of infinite possibilities. If it's possible, 9 out of 10 is being done somewhere on a different timeline or the same timeline at a different point. What about white people leaving the United States and we got our land back and our wealth? Is that coming soon? White people ain't white. That's where the problem came in at. We was thinking all the time that pale faces, white skin is white people. Them not white people. And yeah, them motherfuckers got to go. The ones who look like us that ain't us. I don't care where they go. They not staying here.
Right.
Can you speak on what happened to the Virginia East Coast Indians throughout history? Have they been involved in any wars? They've been involved in the most wars. The most the most conflicts, when you look at the wars, we fought them all over the land. But the biggest concentration was the front that was put up from New York to Florida. And all of those tribes over there, the Lenape to the Gullah Geechee to the Shinnecock, all of them was involved in fighting these people. But we would have been so reduced in people with original blood that we wouldn't have been able to reclaim the land at the close of the age unless we adjusted to the conflict and evolved the warfare to a protracted struggle with conjure rules as opposed to physical combat rules. Because we wasn't going to never surrender and we wasn't going to never retreat. And they apparently wasn't going to stop coming till one side was totally annihilated.
We'll take 2 more, then we'll cut out. We'll take 2 more.
Okay, what does it mean when I can look into the sky and I see tiny lights like sparklers everywhere being seen as here? You just got a broader spectrum of the light spectrum that you can see from the average person. Okay. Dynamic access memory is in computers. Does that has anything to do with humans when we dream? All of the computers is based off the functioning and understanding of the ancients of the human mind. The way that the human mind was described in ancient texts is what they used to develop the computer. So all aspects of the computer is based on your brain, your mental functioning. Short-term memory is RAM. Your long-term memory of the self that you learn in your lifetime, that's your hard drive. And then you overrun the hard drive, your long-term memory, you have to then draw from the cloud. The cloud is the universal mind or the universal egregore. Took us back to the beginning, Elder.
Yeah. Hey, back to the beginning. I like this shit though. I'm gonna do more investigation on it and get those books that you called out. Because I know Baba talked about the Auric egg, and I did a little bit of information in the Ascension Manual, but this is another little piece of it that I'm looking at. Another little the connection between all the Auric eggs connected together as one unit.
This is kind of it seemed like for regular people, what we was going over was kind of simplistic, but the concept is an esoteric concept that I got to try to figure out how to get people to understand it using the resources available so they can assimilate and utilize it to our greatest advantage. Mm-hmm. Right? So this wasn't easy for me to break down as it might seem because I had to try to make it so simple that it's almost impossible to explain it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we do got a lot like the law of success is like this. When I was doing I was drawing a curriculum for an entrepreneurial class. And this book is like one of the first books we start with. This was the beginning of the class on entrepreneurial. Another one is called Becoming an Entrepreneur. It's like, and that's what I was writing that curriculum based off of. And then as I learned more, I went on to something else.
Interesting. All right, well, Raw, I know you. Hey, we like them hour 130s because they like them hour 130s. Them hour 130s, it just be just like just right. So Raw, we gonna come back with another one. Because this is the time when we run them back to back during Christmas time. We like to get them going. So we'll be back with another one probably the day after next, or whenever the next time we free with one, and we'll talk about the next one. Hey, but you got anything you want to close out with? Public service announcement.